WNDS Sports and the Massachusetts Bowling Association present Candlepin Skins. It's Candlepin bowling like you've never seen it before, and now with increased prize money. Your hosts for Candlepin Skins, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
And welcome once again, everybody. We're at Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts, our new home this year for Candlepin Skins. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. And if you missed it last week, well, you missed a terrific finish. Not for first place. Jim Woodsum wrapped up first place pretty early, but Tom Morgan waited until the 20th and final box to get second place.
That's right. He was saving all his strikes for when he needed them, and he really needed them in the last box, and he came up with some big shots.
Had to have 23 pins in the last box to finish second, and he came up with a dramatic triple strike to finish second. So that means that we will have, again, two bowlers back from next week, as we always do. The top two in total pinfall return week to week here on Candlepin Skins. So let's introduce you to all the bowlers. We've mentioned them already. They had terrific performances last week from Stratham, New Hampshire, Jim Woodsum, and from Revere, Massachusetts, Tom Morgan.
Okay, and Jim comes in averaging 118, although he's averaging a lot higher than that on the show, and Tom Morgan averaging 128.
And again, Jim finished first in total pinfall last week with a fine 269 total. Tom Morgan was second with a total of 235, but the story was really that last box when he had the triple strike to come in second. Now, Jim and Tom will be joined by our two incoming bowlers from Franklin, Massachusetts, Bob Papp, and from Lynn, Massachusetts, Tom's brother, Mike Morgan.
Okay, we got brothers, we got identical averages and everything here. Bob Papp coming in at 118 and Mike Morgan at 128.
They're going to be on the lanes at the same time, too. We may have to prevent a little brotherly feud here.
Is there enough room on the lanes for both of them?
We're going to be back with bowling in a minute, but first of all, we want to review the rules here on Candlepin Skins. For those of you who might be joining us for the first time, we have a lot of new cable systems now bringing you the winds of New England, and we want to welcome all of you new viewers around New England who may be just joining us for the first time. This is Candlepin bowling a little bit differently than you're accustomed to. Total pinfall does count. The four bowlers roll individually, one box at a time. The total pinfall does count because the top two in total pinfall return week to week, and that's how they win more prize money. But in addition to that, there is also the skins aspect of the competition. In each box, a dollar value has been assigned, and the high score for each box wins that dollar value or the skin. Now, if there is a tie for the high score in a particular box, whether it be spares or strikes or whatever, then the dollar value rolls over to the next box, and then, of course, the jackpots increase with each carryover. Now, here's the dollar value assigned to each box. $20 for each of the first three boxes of each game. The next three boxes are worth $25 each. The next three are worth $30 each, and the 10th box in each game worth $75. And we didn't have a lot of big carryovers in terms of numbers of boxes last week, but we had some very dramatic skins being won and halved with the way the bowlers were set up.
And that's right. Dave Richards was in the anchor position. He threw a couple strikes to cause carryovers as well as some spares. So, but I'm looking for some more carryovers. Get that pot up a little bit.
All right.
I'd like to see him squirm a little bit.
All right. The crowd is ready, and we are too. Our four bowlers will be back to begin the match here in Haverhill after these words. Don't go away.
Candlepin Skins is brought to you in part by the Car Phone Store of Nashua.
We are back and ready to go here on Candlepin Skins. Jim Woodsum and Bob Papp are going to lead things off for us. First of two games. Jim Woodsum with that terrific 269 a week ago, 132 and 137. Bob Papp making his first appearance with us here on the Winds, and his first ball is a good one. Oh, and a misfire for Bob Papp. So that'll be a 9 box for Jim Woodsum and an 8 for Bob Papp. And now our first look of the day at the Morgan brothers. Mike on the left, Tom on the right.
Okay, Morgan, let's get a good hit.
And ready to go. Mike just misses the head pin.
Certainly didn't miss it by very much. Leaves himself to 1, 2, 9, and 10. And Tommy right through the middle. Spread eagle. Remember, just a 9 is on the board for the skin.
9's looking pretty good right now.
It's looking real good.
This is a $20 skin here in the first frame. And it will be just a 7 for Mike. So unless Tom can pull out a 9 here, watch out. He may win it. He got it.
I think he's got this down now.
He saved something from last week. Tom Morgan wins the skin with a dramatic 10. So we had a 7, an 8, a 9, and a 10 in that first box. Bob Papp now. Boy, another great first ball for Bob.
Looked like he was going to be left with a 5-7, but Lisa would hit the 7 pin from behind. Oh, Jim Woodsum for the strike.
Bob misfires on the single. $10 for Bob.
You see the replay of Jim's strike. 4-pin, last pin to go down. And obviously he can only win the skin, or it can be halved. No one can take it away from him. Outright takeaway, I should say. Good tie him.
No for Tom. Now Mike will try for the strike in the carryover. Nope, off target. So give that $20 skin to Jim Woodsum. He was the big skins winner last week with $255. Spare for Tom Morgan. And let's see. No, not for Mike. Want to take a moment to thank one of our returning sponsors, the great folks at Tri-State Megabucks. They've been with us a long time here on Candlepin Bowling, and we, as always, appreciate their support. Remember, you can't win if you don't play. Just imagine. Tri-State Megabucks. Jim Woodsum now on a strike, having just won that $20 skin. $20 more here in the third, up for grabs. Half Worcester. Bob Papp now. Half Worcester on the other side. Full Worcester.
Jim's working on a strike. This is his second bonus ball on that strike, and gets just a half a dozen. There's your full Worcester for Bob.
And Jim will settle for an 8. And Bob will have to take 4.
Well, there's an 8 box up there for the skin. I don't know, Doug. Let's take our ties off and put the bowling shoes on.
I don't even think we have to take our ties off. Mike Morgan first. Right on the head pin, big strike.
Can his brother tie him for the skin? No, it's not going to happen this time.
So that puts Mike on the board for a skin. So 3 of our 4 bowlers have already recorded skins victories. Tom, by the way, with just a 3 fill on his spare. And the 10. There's Mike Morgan in the background, and here's his strike on a Brooklyn hit and tapping the 6-pin. Bob Papp now on lane 4.
No problem with that first ball for Bob Papp. It's converting these spares now. He's got the 4, 7, 8, and all kinds of help out in front.
Tough shot for Jim Woodsum. Bob will try his first. Uh-oh, he turned it over.
Yikes.
Still having trouble with the second ball. Well, Jim tried to fly that out of the channel. It didn't work. And Bob turns it over again, and it'll be just an 8. Jim will take 9. And once again, the stage is open for the Morgan brothers. Tom will roll first. Well, this is what he was doing all last week until the last box.
And Mike now on a strike, and he almost converts to the spread eagle, knocking down a 7-pin.
Oh, how about it? Almost for Tom.
Remember, there's a 9 up there so far.
That's a 6 fill on the strike for Mike. That 10 could win the skin for Tom unless Mike shows us a shot here. Yep, it does. The $25 skin goes to Tom Morgan. Only 2 pins separating first from third place right now in the early going.
Jim Woodsum will have a spare leave in the 2, 4, and 5 triangle.
For Jim, this is his 3rd straight appearance on Candlepin Skins, dating back to last spring. He was with us on the last show last spring. And Bob Papp almost converting.
Put that ball where he wanted to, but no luck on the 9-pin. 9 box for Jim. 51 through 5.
10 bucks for Bob Papp. Bob making his very first appearance with us here on the Wins. Not so for Mike and Tom Morgan, however. They've been around a lot over the years. So big first ball. 10 leads for this skin right now in the 5th, worth $25. Tom had a number of those last week, too.
Mike will try to convert the 5-pin for a spare. Got a nice little guide in this piece of wood.
That might be good enough for the skin unless Tom converts this. Nope, give the $25 skin to Mike Morgan. We'll see how Tom escapes this box. With a 7, so we will take a pause right here. The score's very close. Mike Morgan at 51 with a ball to go. Jim Woodsum at 51. Tom Morgan at 50. And Bob Papp trying to get his first mark on the board at 40. We're back with more on Candlepin Skins after this break.
Candlepin Skins is brought to you in part by Tri-State Megabucks. And now with Mega Cash. Choose your dream.
We are back, and Bob Papp in box number 6. And again, a fine first ball. Bob waiting to convert his first mark of the day. Jim Woodsum with kind of an ugly leave.
Yeah, the 2, 7, and 10. Bob Papp's got the 2 and the 4, and again, sliding by in that second ball. That's going to start to wear on you after a while. So he's had his opportunities for marks. Good bid for Jim Woodsum, trying to cut the 2 into the 10, and hopefully the ball would have taken the 7.
9 for Bob. Oh, how about
what he wanted to do?
The 10 bucks. Only a 10, but worth another look for Jim Woodsum. That was what he was hoping to convert for a spare.
So again, only a 10 showing up there for the skin.
Tom Morgan, big first ball this time. Mike now working on a spare. And he'll get 5. This is a $25 skin, and Tom Morgan will put the spare up. That leads for the moment unless Mike can match it, and he does not. So the skin for $25 goes to Mike Morgan, or rather Tom Morgan. I got that out of the way. I knew I'd do that at least once. I did it once last week, too, and they weren't both here. 8 bucks for Mike. Oh, we haven't had a single carryover yet. We're down to the 7th box, and this box will be worth $30. Jim Woodsum to go first. Lost that one out to the right. Nice try by Bob. But both of these guys will be open again. This will be the 5th box in a row that they've both been open. $10 for Bob.
And no one seems to want to take command for the pinfall lead either. Still very, very close. Mike Morgan on lane number 4. His brother Tom on 3, and Tom will be working on a spare, and that close to a strike for Mike. Remember, the 10 box is up for the skin.
On the spare, there's
Give it
the
to
strike.
Tom.
Tom takes the skin with the strike, and Mike puts the spare up. Well, Mike threw a 9 drop, and then Tom got them all. Tom's up to $100 already. The 8th box worth $30. Bob Papp looking for his first mark, and there it is.
That was a big one.
Jim Woodsum. Boy, that ball looked a little better than that going in.
It really did. I thought maybe we'd have a carryover with strikes, but Jim's looking at 6, 7, and 9 pins. A couple pieces of wood in front of the 7, which he probably is going to try to snap across. Well, he does, but doesn't clear anything out except the 6 pin.
Well, Bob Papp in line for perhaps his first skin of the day, unless either of the Morgans can throw a strike on top of him. There is Bob, and here is his strike on the Brooklyn side. Well, actually, not the Brooklyn side with the left-hander. That's his regular 1-2 pocket hit. Again, his first ball has been fine. It's been everything after that that's been the problem.
Well, no strike out of Tom. One chance for Mike, otherwise it's going to be Bob's.
Ooh, my. So give the $30 skin to Bob Papp, his first, and these guys are both filling marks, remember. Oh, Tom Morgan almost. That's a 9 fill on his strike. Mike had just a 2 fill as he took out just the 1 and the 9 on his spare. Very unusual lead. 10 for Tom. And Mike bails out with an 8. Tom Morgan in the overall lead here. We still have not had a carryover. The 9th box worth $30. A little full for Jim Woodsum.
3, 6, 10 with the 7 pin for Jim. Good break by Bob. For Bob, leaving just the 2 and the 4 for a spare, and don't forget he's working on a strike, and he was a low man in the totem pole as far as total pinfall goes, so this is going to help him if he can go spare on strike.
Oh, nice try for Jim. For the spare, and Bob is off target.
You can tell he's lacks the confidence with that second ball.
10 box for Jim Woodsum. And a 10 for Bob Papp.
He climbs to be within 1 pin of Jim Woodsum. However, you got the Morgans that are at 84 and 99, Mike and Tom respectively, and they got to still finish this 9th frame.
Oh my. Not exactly spare leaves on either lane here. We'd like to welcome Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan of Salem, New Hampshire as a new sponsor here on Candlepin Skins. They've been with us a long time on the Sunday show, Candlepin Stars and Stripes, but now with us on Candlepin Skins as well. Our thanks to Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Come to Salem and save. Well, we are going to have a carryover with 10s. Our first carryover of the day. 3 10s in that 9th box. So the 10th box will now be worth $105. Bob Papp right on the head pin again, but a little too much of it this time. Oh, how about it for Bob Papp? Oh,
what a shot.
how about that for a spare?
One you didn't expect him to make, and he turns around and makes it anyways.
Oh, and a spare for Jim Woodsum as well. This is Bob Papp's first spare of the day, Dan, and it was a spectacular one. Got a break with the mix there. Finally carrying the 7-pin.
That's what it takes sometimes. That's what happened with Jim last week, Jim Woodsum, and got a couple breaks, and he was off and running. See, the same thing happens with Bob Papp.
Bob fills his mark with 7, and Jim takes just 2 on the half Worcester. So Jim Woodsum with a 101, Bob Papp at 105.
The carryover is already created with the 2 spares. It's going to take a strike by either one of the Morgan boys to take this last skin. Otherwise, we'll carry it over into the second game.
Tom is off target to the left. Now Mike's bid, and no. So we will have another carryover to the beginning of game 2. Oh, how about it? Tom just missing on the spare, leaving the 8-pin. Mike converts his. So Tom will take a 10 box and a 119. He will be the pinfall leader after game 1. Mike Morgan has a chance to be in second place overall if he gets at least 3 on this spare fill. And he will take 6. So very, very close here after game 1. Tom Morgan in the lead at 119, followed by brother Mike at 109, Bob Papp at 105, Jim Woodsum at 101. We'll be back for game 2 of Candlepin Skins after these words. Tom Morgan leads in total pinfall and in skins winnings after game 1 with $100 already up on the board, but everybody else has checked in with skins winnings to this point. And we begin game 2 with certainly the total pinfall situation very much in doubt. Only 18 pins separating first and fourth right now. Jim Woodsum from Stratham, New Hampshire. Bob Papp from Franklin, Mass. And Bob may have himself a crack at a spare here. We'll see. Jim Woodsum on the spread eagle.
Bob's going to shoot at the 1, 3, and 8. Gotta hurry. Is it enough?
No. Jim takes 8. And Bob takes 10. And we've got to mention right off the top here, Dan, this is a carryover from game 1. This box number 1 in game 2 is worth $125.
Not a bad piece of change for somebody to pick up. Right now, Bob is leading with a 10. It's going to take some kind of mark from Mike or Tom. Well, it's not going to be an easy mark for Mike. 1, 8, and 9. The wood will help, though. Well, Tom could win it all with a strike.
Oh, boy.
No.
Well, let's see. Bob Papp has a 10 already up there.
Oh, the wood behind the headpin for Mike. It makes it a little easier than just looking at the 189 with no wood.
John Mazzetti, our lob line judge, clearing out a piece of dead wood on lane 4 for Mike Morgan. It was not going to affect the shot anyway. Gene McCauley keeping the big scoreboard for us here at Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill.
Big shot for Mike Morgan. Oh,
nope.
Now the 10 is looking good. Wow. How things can change. Well, Mike's still, Tom's still got a shot for a 10. I would say Mike, tough with the 8-9 up there.
Let's see. Will we have a $125 skin with a 10 box?
Oh my! Look at this! Oh.
Well, Bob is up there to give him a high five, even though he just stole $125 from Bob Papp. Oh, what a shot. That makes the second box now worth $145. Well, this is what it's about, the carryovers. Jim Woodsum a little full on the head pin.
Well, he wants that one to stay up, I think. Well, let's see the wood settles down for him. 4, 7, 10, piece of wood, 3 pieces in front of the, to the center and to the right of where the head pin would have been. When He's going to have to play that one. And see if he can get some help on the 4. No.
And Bob Papp trying to bail out. He'll take a 6-box. Jim Woodsum will take 10. Also want to take a moment here, Dan, to welcome another brand new sponsor here on Candlepin Skins, the great folks at Coca-Cola. Always Coca-Cola. Brand new sponsor here on Candlepin Skins. Good to have them along. And you as well. Oh, big strike. Well, Tom Morgan kept it alive, and now he might have won it, unless Mike can take it away from him. No. $145 skin for Tom Morgan. And he earned that one. He had to make a great 10 box in the previous box to carry it over. Already Tom Morgan at $245 in skins money. And he still leads in total pinfall as well, as he's the only one of the 4 bowlers to mark here in game 2. Here's another look at that $145 strike.
Just tripping that 5-pin. Jim Woodsum up on lane 4 now for the 3rd box of the 2nd game. Remember, the cumulative totals, first game and every box that's bowled in the 2nd, is at the bottom of your screen when they show the scoreboard, so you can watch the total pinfall unfold. And who will be with us next week? The top 2 finishers will be with us again.
Along with Gary Carrington and Bob Betancourt will be coming in next week. Spare for Bob Papp in the 3rd. An 8-box for Jim Woodsum. Mike Morgan now on lane 4. And a spinning piece of wood comes in, but the 5-pin is still there, and this could be trouble, depending on where that wood settles.
Yeah, it didn't turn enough for him, so he's shaking his head. He is
and a half Worcester for Tom.
Now the front piece turned a little more for him, but he's still going to have to be right of the red line.
Mike will be trying to create a carryover here with Bob Papp's spare.
Not far enough to the right.
Oh, and he missed with the ball too. Oh, how about that? Everything but the head pin for Tom. So give the skin for $20 to Bob Papp. Mike takes a 9. And Tom cleans it up with a 10.
You see the totals. Tom out in front with 158, but the other bowler is still within striking distance. Jim Woodsum being the low man with 127.
$25 box here in the 4th. Bob Papp working on a spare, and he takes 8. Dan, I know you and I would like to take a moment out here during the show. Candlepin Skins now affiliated with the Massachusetts Bowling Association, and I know, speaking on behalf of Dan and myself and everybody on the WNDS crew, we want to wish congratulations and a big tip of the cap and great work to all the folks at WCBB, Don Gillis, the host, Phil Rubin, the director and producer, and all the great folks that worked on the show and appeared on the show over the years. It was an institution in New England, and the NBA is now presenting Candlepin Skins, and we're hoping that we can provide some of that same excitement that you saw for those many years on WCBB.
It certainly is. Any bowling show now, that's the measure we have to look up to, is that Don Gillis and the crew, and my sentiments exactly, Doug.
You and I had a chance to talk to Don over the summer. There was a terrific ceremony at the ICBA, International Candlepin Bowling Association convention down on the Cape. A special presentation made to all the folks from Channel 5. Well-deserved recognition for all those years of service. A spare for Mike Morgan, and Mike wins the $25 skin in the 4th, and 8 for Tom. And we are in box number 5 now with a $25 skin up for grabs again.
And Jim Woodsum needs to put some offense up. as does Bob Papp.
Spare for Jim. That'll help.
That'll help the cause. Actually, Bob Papp has climbed over Mike Morgan for second position, but Mike has a spare up, and so doesn't Bob.
Oh, yeah. Had to wait on the 7-pin.
Important for his total pinfall, but it also ties Jim for the skin, so it's going to take a strike by Mike or Tom to win this one outright, or we'll have a carryover. It looked good enough to be a strike. Big 9 fill on the spare, though.
And another 9 drop.
Boy.
Ooh. So it'll be a carryover with the spares. Now there's the matter of the single pins, and Mike misses his. And Tom misses his. Boy. I bet you could have those guys stand up there all day, Dan, and shoot at single pins and not have them both miss like that. A carryover in the 5th. Jim Woodsum and Bob Papp, who are running 4th and 3rd, respectively, getting those spares in the 5th to help bring things closer as we move to the final 5 boxes. We'll have a $50 carryover skin when we return in a minute. Bob Papp and Jim Woodsum each working on spares here in the 6th, and Bob throws the
Jim Woodsum, his bid for the strike. Drops 7 on his spare. 3, 6, 7. No wood to help. He's going to have to split the 3 and the 6.
Played it the other way, and he got it.
Doesn't have to split the 3, 6. Conventionally, you usually have to split them, but this time he played on the inside, kept the 3-pin alive. Here's a strike by Bob Papp, kicking out that 7-pin.
Bob leads for the $50 skin unless either Mike or Tom can throw a strike also.
Bob was in last place for a while. Now he's climbed into the lead, possibly, depending on that fill on the strike.
No strikes there, and so that $50 skin goes to Bob Papp. He's up to $100 now.
2 costly misses in a row by Tom, a single pin, and then a double pin there. Mike Morgan missing his spare opportunity.
Tom takes a 10. And Mike takes a 10.
So we are extremely close now, all 4 bowlers.
Tom Morgan still in the lead, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, the cumulative total, but very close for second.
Well, Jim Woodsum gets to go first on lane 4, and it's a huge ball working on a spare.
The wrong 2 pins went over for Jim. Bob Papp on his strike.
Got a makeable spare here for Jim, though. The 2 and the 6. Piece of wood. He's got to come up too high on it, though. Opportunity lost there.
And it's a 6 fill for Bob on his strike. So both Jim and Bob will be open here. Jim takes a 9 and Bob takes 8. So that leaves the door open for Mike and Tom Morgan. A $30 skin here in the 7th, but we're going to be watching the total pinfall as well because it is very close. Don't forget, we will have Candlepin Stars and Strikes tomorrow at noon from Park Place Lanes in Windham, New Hampshire. Hope you'll join us for that. Great Candlepin bowling every Saturday and Sunday at noon here on the Winds of New England. Mike Morgan for the spare, and he's got it. And he leads for the skin. Can Tom match it? Yes, he can. A brotherly carryover in the 7th. There's Tom's spare. Perfect shot.
Both of them needed those marks, though. Mike to try to get back in the total pinfall race, and Tom just to fend everybody off.
A $60 skin now here in the 8th.
Light hit for Bob Papp. Didn't look that bad, but Tough spare leave. Jim Woodsum off target to the right. Both bowlers need marks.
And neither one had anything really to shoot at. Bob Papp will take 8. And Jim Woodsum with a pretty nice bailout there for a 9. But again, they are open. Tom Morgan will take the lead when he fills that spare. And he'll do it right now. Off target to the left, just 3. Big ball for Mike, and somehow the 5-pin is still there. Mike can't believe it. He thought he had a strike for certain on that one. Oh, this could go. This may go. Nope. Mike trying to win the skin here with the spare.
Not an easy spare leave, though. That wood is turned the wrong way. He's got to come up high in it.
He's got it. That's a $60 skin for Mike Morgan. And a 10 for Tom. Down to the final 2 boxes.
Look at this. 209, 204, 201, 187. Not out of it yet. Jim Woodsum, but he needs marks.
Jim would love to put one up here in the 9th, but wow, that one got away. Bob Papp, who had a slow start, but has come on very well since then.
He's looking at the 1, 8, 9, and 10. And Jim, no mark for Jim.
Almost for Bob. So they're going to both be open again. Cooling off at the wrong time here. Jim Woodsum with a 9, and Bob will take 10. Well, Jim really needed the mark. Bob, not as much, but he probably will need one going into the final box, because he figures to be no better than 3rd place by the time this 9th box is over.
Oh, big ball for Mike Morgan. He's working on that spare in the 8th. He's at 204.
Just missed the head pin.
Might get a break here if that. Oh, got 6.
Oh, big first ball. Tom Morgan takes the $30 skin in the 9th. And, oh, how did he miss? Mike Morgan does not get the spare.
You hear somebody yelling in the background, get the pin. That's right. That's no good. That's a 9 box. Well,
every pin important right now.
Brothers are tied at 219. However, Tom is working on a strike, and there is the strike that he's working on.
Meanwhile, this man, Bob Papp, is in 3rd, and he is 8 pins behind Mike Morgan, so he must mark in order to have a chance. Big first ball. Oh, he's got the strike. This is a $75 skin also here in the 10th. Looks like we're headed for more 10th inning 10th frame dramatics here. Well, Jim Woodsum was our top pinfall scorer last week, but he is going to finish 4th this week. Just was never really able to get it started. 104 for Jim and a 2-game total of 205. Here is Bob Papp's strike in the 10th. That was a Brooklyn hit over into the 1-3 pocket.
That's right.
Two big balls here for Bob.
He would love to have thrown the double strike, but
if he gets more than an 8, he will force Mike Morgan to mark. And there it is. A 9 fill on the strike, 126, and a 2-game total of 125, I beg your pardon, and a 2-game total of 230.
So Mike Morgan would need a spare plus 2 pins to overtake Bob for 2nd. We assume that Tom working on the strike will be all set.
Tom is filling that strike. Now, Mike, very important first ball here. He needs a mark.
With that fill, that puts Tom over Bob Papp. Oh, boy. This is going to be one heck of a shot to convert this.
Give Bob Papp, by the way, that last $75 skin. There's the spare for Tom Morgan, but he's not the one that needs it. Brother Mike needs it, and he's going to have to show us a spectacular shot here. Nope. So it's going to be Tom Morgan and Bob Papp returning next week. And once again, it went down to the final box, a 7 for Mike Morgan there. Mike finishes with a 117 and a 2-game total of 226. That's 4 pins behind Bob Papp. And now Tom Morgan with the final ball of the day. A 5 fill on his spare, make it a 4 fill, 124, and a 2-game total of 243. So Tom Morgan finishes first, Bob Papp second, Mike Morgan a close third, Jim Woodsum in fourth, and we will be back with more on Candlepin Skins in a minute. Welcome back to Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. Well, again, dramatics for second place in the 10th box. Not a triple strike this time, just a single strike, but it was enough to give Bob Papp second place.
No, I guess Mike's got to talk to his brother Tom and find out what to do in that last box so he can come back. But yeah, just didn't have it. He needed the mark and got a very bad split and just wasn't able to convert it.
All right, let's look at the scores. First of all, the total pinfall for today. Tom Morgan, instead of leaving it till the last box, got it done a little earlier today, finishes first at 243. Bob Papp just behind at 230. Mike Morgan only 4 pins back of second in third at 226. And Jim Woodsum, who was on the top of this list last week, finishes with 205. Everybody got on the skins list as well. Tom Morgan leading the way there with $275. Of course, he won that big $145 carryover skin early in game 2. Bob Papp with 175. Mike and Jim also on the board as well. Well, we're going to talk to both bowlers and get a few words about today's match. First, Bob Papp, come on up. Bob making his first appearance with us here on the Winds of New England, coming up from Franklin, Mass. And, boy, I know you had to be turn around and step right in here, Bob, so we can see. I know that first few boxes, the first ball was great, but you were struggling converting marks, and then later you caught fire.
Yeah, I missed a few marks. I was a little nervous, I guess. I don't know. And I just wasn't throwing the ball out there. And I said to myself, well, I got to throw a strike to get on the board. And I hung in there. And fortunately, the other bowlers, they missed a few shots. I was hanging in there. I got to mark the last box, the last string.
Well, you must have been watching last week. You saw what Tom did in the last box to get second place, and you had to end up doing something similar. Of course, your situation was different. You had to sit back and watch what Mike did after that.
I knew I needed a mark, and I got it. And then I just had to hope that Mike didn't get a mark.
Well, congratulations. You and Tom will be back next week, and we'll see you then. Thanks, Bob. Congratulations. Tom Morgan, come on up here. We'll get a chance to chat with Tom again. Second place last week in a thriller, and first place this week. You didn't want it to be as exciting this time, did you?
I'll tell you, it's still just as exciting. I'm keeping one in the middle. I'm just that little bit off. You know, I feel comfortable up there. I throw a nice strike, next ball through the middle. Maybe one of these weeks I keep on going.
So now do you have words of consolation for your brother who got just nipped out there for second place?
No, I won't say anything.
You know better, right?
Comes around. I know what happens. He'll be back. Don't worry about that.
All right, Tom. We'll see you and Bob next week. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
All right. Bob Betancourt and Gary Carrington will be joining us next week also. But we've had 2 terrific matches here to start the season on Candlepin Skins.
That's right. And Bob Betancourt and Gary Carrington come in. We're going to have another one next week.
All right. Don't forget, tomorrow at noon, our usual Sunday spot for Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Park Place Lanes in Wyndham, New Hampshire. Then Dan and I will be back next Saturday here at Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill for Candlepin Skins. Until tomorrow then, for all of us here at Pilgrim Lanes, I'm Doug Brown. Have a good weekend, everybody.